Hi there. Welcome to Money Talk Viewpoint. My name is Stuart Kruse. I'm going to be your host. Money Talk Viewpoint is a podcast that is geared towards servicing high net worth professionals, family offices, and those people who service that area. So, like CPAs, wealth advisors, estate planning attorneys, and the like. I am founder of Kruse Asset Management. We're a quantitative boutique asset management firm. By quantitative, I mean we build and make all of our investment decisions using math and statistics. We think it's a better approach, and research suggests that it's better outcomes for long-term viability for the client. We also run a virtual family office, as you know. And by virtual family office, what that means is we collaborate in a team-based approach with your experts. So we bring your CPA in, we work with your estate planning lawyer, your insurance person, and any other outside experts that we might need in order to optimize your wealth. Now, I came from a wirehouse background. I was at Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns prior to that. And I will say from firsthand experience, and this still goes on today, the wirehouse's compliance department will not allow their advisors to collaborate with, let's say, a CPA to provide an optimal strategy for you because they can't control them. They won't allow us to bring in other outside experts outside the firm because, again, they have no control over them. That's why, if as a fiduciary, I think it's super important to have this team-based approach so that we can help optimize your wealth. As a fiduciary, I don't know of a better way or another way to be able to provide you with the best solution possible, which is my mandate. It's not the mandate of large brokerage firms. They have to provide you with suitable options. I have to provide you with defensively the best option. And the only way I can get there is if I collaborate with outside experts. Speaking of outside experts, we have a fabulous one on your show right now, Jesse Raynes. He is from Inception Financial, and he is going to talk about, and we're going to talk a lot about this, is solar tax credits. So he's a tax mitigation specialist in that particular area. And again, from firsthand experience, I would not be able to talk to you or talk with Jesse about this on your behalf if I was at a large wirehouse. It just would not be possible. So Jesse's background is quite impressive. He was a senior VP at SunVantage Energy, which is a commercial solar firm. He spent 3 years at Solar City of Elon Musk fame, another 6 years at Tesla as a regional VP managing $600 million in residential solar market, over 8 regional directors, 60 sales managers, and 800 sales consultants. Prior to that, this could be the most interesting thing on your LinkedIn profile that I saw. President of Jimmy John's Sandwich franchise. We love Jimmy John's here in Chicago. You also have a master's degree from University of Illinois, which is my stomping grounds in Chicago. I actually got into University of Illinois engineering school, decided to go to Northwestern, so we can talk about that a little bit. Jesse, welcome to Money Talk Viewpoint.
Well, thanks so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you. Now, before we jump into probably what everybody's interested in, that's reducing their taxes, how did you go from sandwiches to solar? Gotta ask.
Well, the sandwiches it came about because I went to University of Illinois and fell in love with Jimmy John's, and I knew they didn't have Jimmy John's out in California, so I was very passionate about bringing the brand out here, and so sort of did that in parallel amongst other things. So it was always designed to be a passive type of investment, if you will. But I can assure everyone that's listening that there's nothing passive about running restaurants. I learned that firsthand. But it was an amazing experience, great brand, great product. And, obviously running any type of business, certainly at that scale at 5 locations, teaches you a lot as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's fantastic. We love Jimmy John's. I go get the number 5 Vito all the time. It's one of my favorite sandwiches. Did you have a favorite while you were there?
I would say the Vito was also one of my favorites. And of course, I really love the roast beef. So Little John is probably another one of my faves.
Sounds great. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this. So you clearly have an extensive background in the solar energy and field. Just tell me how you kind of got into that renewable energy space and what drove you there.
It really derived from my stepfather, who was installing solar systems in Flagstaff, Arizona, going back to early 2000s. They installed one of the very first grid-tied residential solar systems on Arizona Public Service Grid in Flagstaff. And I was just always enamored by the technology. It seemed very intuitive that we would generate power from the sun. And so I just dove in head first. And at the time, there wasn't any place to learn about solar except on the internet. And I have a thirst for knowledge and learned everything I could, right down to the wire saws that cut silicon. And after that, I interviewed for a handful of executive positions, was fortunate to start with an upstart distributor that allowed me to learn who all the major players were in the space, both on the manufacturing side as well as the financing side. And then shortly after was recruited into Solar City, very, very early days. And that just proved to be, what a blessing in my life, not only as an entrepreneur. I was able to grow an incredible company and be very integral into the company going public, as well as the subsequent merger with Tesla. But also professionally and personally, it was transformational in terms of my own wealth. And that's ultimately what led me to starting Inception Financial. Was after I had that exit from Tesla, I was looking to solve my own tax problem. And there was born Inception Financial.
All right. Well, so I was going to delay that a little bit, but let's just get into it. So what were the big challenges you had? You have a big windfall, and you're faced with I have a team-based approach. There are other tax mitigation strategies out there. We use them in conjunction with solar as well. But what was it that really, you have a background, but what is it that really draw you to your strategy, the solar field and renewable energy?
Well, it was because I had deep experience when I was working at Tesla and prior Solar City, that we came up with these financing mechanisms along with all the large banks. US Bank, Morgan Stanley, Goldman, et cetera, are all heavily invested in this asset class. And we were reducing the upfront cost for homeowners by allowing them to simply purchase the electricity and not the actual equipment. And therefore, they had a lower electricity bill. And we just did similar to a mortgage, where we bundled up all of these assets and we sold them off to the banks, who owned them on the balance sheet, by the way. So this was done at the C Corp level, not that they were sharing this with their private clients. All done at the C Corp level, and very elegant and very simple. So I'd known about the strategy, but I had never employed it myself. And it was really me connecting with my now managing partner. His name is Ryan Hamilton. And Ryan just said, "Hey, knucklehead, you should be doing this." And I thought, yeah, marvelous. Why would I not? I know the asset class. I believe in it so much. And it's really kind of a well-kept secret, because most of these large institutions and even corporations like Google, Apple, Walmart, Netflix, Amazon, Target, they're all invested in this asset class. I just never thought about doing it personally. And so I did look at other tax mitigation strategies, but what I found was that most of the strategies out there are just deferral programs. And on a net present value basis, some of them are really great, like buying a jet and then potentially, leasing that jet out when you're not using it, levering it up with a bunch of debt. It's a great use of your money to fly private, reduce the overall cost to fly private, and you do get some tax benefits. But the moment I were to sell a jet, I'd be hit with all that recapture tax. And one of the very attractive things about solar assets is they are an energy asset that are excluded from recapture tax if you own that asset for 5 years. And so when I looked at all of the strategies, looked at oil and gas and things like that, and I think those are incredible investments, but those are just tax efficient investments, right? That can help reduce the earnings I make off of my money. But I was hard pressed to find anything where I could literally redirect the same dollars I was giving to the IRS and use that to buy an asset. And that asset delivered to me underlying tax benefits, which was true tax savings year over year. And then I had an option. At the end of 6 years of ownership, I could either sell it on the open market or I could hold on to it and generate cash flow. But either way, I get zero return with my money to the IRS. Here, I was able to generate return and savings for the family treasury, and I could do that year over year, rely on this strategy. And so it was a no-brainer. And I also just know the asset class so well. What I love about it is no moving pieces. There's no phone calls. It's all done through ACH. And it's, glass on a roof delivering electrons. So I don't have to deal with some of the other investments that I have, like in real estate, which again, very good investments, but they come with their own issues, right? Same with running a restaurant like Jimmy John's. had employees there, and a host of other issues. Same thing with real estate, broken toilets and phone calls. Here with this asset class, it delivers a predictable yield, but it's very low touch. So all of those things just was a no-brainer for me to do it. And then we realized, hey, there's nobody out there who's really educating the retail clients this exists. And our company really started because I have very close friends of mine who are extremely high net worth entertainment executives. They trust me as the solar expert. They knew what I was doing personally, and they're like, "Hey, we want in." And so I said, "Okay, well, I'll help you." And really, under a consulting arrangement with our first couple clients, we got them going, and that paved the way for us to get out of the proof of concept and say, "This is a legit, real business. There's nobody doing this. We can do this at scale." And here we are, almost 5 years into our 5th year, and we've helped hundreds of clients save literally, tens of millions of dollars in taxes.
Yeah, you